What is up,
Yo.
everyone? Welcome to
Yo.
episode 60.
Oh,
That
man.
is a 6 and a 0 for those that are keeping score. This, of course, is our Black Friday episode.
Woo woo. Hope you all getting
Last
some
year we
stuff
did,
for free.
what was it?
Star
Star
Wars.
Horse. You remember that one?
Best
Yeah,
friends
man.
too.
Yeah, best friends too. So
Yeah.
that was pretty much a serious episode. We talked about a hot topic issue, and we played a brand new released game for that show while you
Was
all
that-
were out suffering through the crowds and cold on Black Friday. So this year we want to give to you 15 topics that are going to be at the Game Awards come December 6th. So just a couple short weeks away. And we're going to talk about our thoughts on these games and what we think will win, what we think will lose, our personal picks and whatnot. So, of course, welcome, Rabbit.
Hey, what's up, Grab?
Welcome, Locksteady. And welcome all of you to episode 60, the Game Awards.
Pre-recorded, so no chat. But,
No chat.
thanks for watching us.
We're glad you're tuning in. Of course, these are not our Game Awards. These are the Game Awards. So,
The Game Awards.
but
Game
let's-
Awards? What did I just say?
Game Awards. Let's kick things off. Eric put a little
Yes,
work
sir.
in for us and did some graphics
Oh, yeah.
for
I made
this
some
one.
collages for this.
You did, so
Collapsibles?
collapsibles. Thank you for that, sir, for putting that together.
Jinder
You're
Mahal?
welcome.
The Kalash?
What is our first?
So, our first topic is going to be Best Debut Indie Game.
So, guys, what's your favorite one of these five?
Oh, let's see. So, we got the list going. I'll read the list.
Oh wait, I thought you didn't take this one.
We have Donut County, which is going to be the top center square. Florence, which is going to be the center. Moss, bottom center. The Messenger, bottom left. And Yoku's Island Express, bottom right. Have you guys heard of any of these? Any thoughts, prayers?
The only one that I've heard of, and it's only because I created a sample overlay for Locksteady months and months and months ago because he was planning on wanting to stream Moss. That's the only one I'd heard of, and I checked out like a trailer for it. But honestly, that is all I know about this one.
The only one I know about is Donut County because I saw some footage of it at E3.
So
It
what
actually
are
looked
these
kinda
games?
fun.
What is Donut County?
From what I can remember, and I could be wrong because I'm just going by what I remember, it's kind of like Katamari in a way where it's like you grab. So you have there's a hole in the city, and every time something falls into the hole, like you move the hole around, every time something falls into the hole like this, the hole gets bigger, and more things can go in the hole. Not kidding.
Sounds like someone needs a continental breakfast.
Oh man! So you know how in Katamari you pick up things and you get bigger. There's a hole and you suck up things into your hole, and then it gets bigger.
So, if that's the case, if that's the true premise of this game, what's really interesting to me about that is that this kicked off a crap load of clones. I see ads for them constantly on like mobile stuff that are similar to that. But Moss is actually the only one of these that I had ever heard of. And shout out to Not So Silent Bob. He keyed me into it when it was still in development a long time ago. And I thought it looked really interesting, but then it, kind of fell off my radar. And then, as it got closer to release, he was like, hey, let's get this. I'll buy it for you because it's VR. Only, so he wasn't going to get it for himself, obviously.
Oh, it's a VR game.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
and it's actually really, really good. I have not played it personally because I was kind of afraid to get behind the visor at that point. I was still trying to work out the motion sickness for myself involved in it. But I watched him play it for a couple hours, and it's kind of your typical little action puzzle platformer type thing. You control the little mouse, Moss, and it's sort of like a combination of a typical action puzzle platformer where you interact with the environment and pull blocks and switches and have little miniature combat arenas and fight off enemies and stuff like that. But it combines some elements of stuff like the old black and white games, where you are kind of the god character as well. So you use the controller mainly to wait. Was it the controller or does it use the wands? I think it uses the wands. I don't remember anymore. But the point is, you have one set of controls that controls the mouse interacting with the environment, but then you have a separate set of controls that you, as the god character, the narrator, I think they call you in that game, can also interact with things that the mouse can't reach. So if there's a block that's too heavy for it or too high up or something like that, you can reach into the universe yourself and interact with it to help move the mouse along his story. So it's actually really good, is the point. Of all of these, obviously it's the only one I know, so I think it's going to be the only one I would vote to win. But
So it being the only one that I know as well, I'm going to go for Moss as well as the winner of this one.
I think that from what I saw, I think I'm going to go Donut County. I think it sounds the most fun to me.
I think you should check out a trailer for Moss. I think you'd actually really enjoy playing it, Eric.
Okay, but in this case, Donut City County, Donut County.
So that
Eat my
was
donut.
the category for best indie game. Our next category is for best multiplayer game, and the nominees are Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Fortnite, Monster Hunter World, and Sea of Thieves.
Here's where we get debating, baby.
And again, best multiplayer game. Honestly, if we're going to talk about the year that was 2018, you got to give it to Fortnite, because that's been all the rage, expanding and having the first cross-play game between multi-platform.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge success, and it is freaking free.
Well, it's not the first game.
It's one of the first to have this type of success.
That type of success.
Have that type
I'm
of
gonna put an
success, yes.
Yeah, because that's a
Rocket.
soccer game. Rocket League, thank you.
Rocket
League.
Soccer.
Sure.
I'm losing it.
It helps Sony finally get on board with this kind of thing.
Yes.
So they're like, there's money
why
here.
And even then, only kind of.
Yeah, but it's progress.
Yeah,
Rocket League.
Steps
So,
forward,
yeah,
man.
Rocket League. So for me, I'm gonna have to go with Fortnite.
I mean, are we going with what we want to win or what we think's going to win? Because
What I
that's two
think is
completely
gonna
different things.
Yeah.
What I think's going to win is Fortnite. What I want to win is Destiny 2.
Really? Over Monster Hunter?
Yeah, I don't. Well, yes, because I don't think
was gonna
Monster
say,
Hunter
for you,
has
it's a
the
solo
kind
experience.
of. I don't think Monster Hunter has the type of
It's not a very welcoming multiplayer experience.
that, and the multiplayer isn't.
It's kind of incidental, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, if you knew it had multiplayer, or when I think of a multiplayer game, I think of like a lot of different aspects. Like Call of Duty Black Ops 4 would be number one for me, but it doesn't have all the facets that I would put into a multiplayer game. And when I think of multiplayer, I think of like co-op, PvP, PvE, which Destiny 2 has. Fortnite is just PvP, unless you're playing PvE, which then it's still multiplayer and online, but that's not the big thing for it. Sea of Thieves is just co-op PvP, but it doesn't have like the big range that Destiny has. Monster Hunter is co-op non-PvP, and Black Ops doesn't have a single player or co-op mode except for zombies. But
If you're debating on the platform of variety, I'm going to have to go in favor of Black Ops 4 then over Destiny. It has a bigger scope of variety and more things to it.
yes, but I feel like for what a multiplayer game is, I mean, I'm not knocking Call of Duty. I play that shit all the time. It's super great. But I think Destiny just has a bigger, I don't want to say player base because it definitely does not. A bigger love, like a bigger following, I guess. But it's hard to. I'm trying to figure out what I want to say. Like, not following, but like
Community.
If you say bigger community, then Black Ops 4 is still definitely bigger because it's the amount of players that play at once are
You're
vastly
saying loyal community then?
What's that?
Loyal community.
Yeah, kind of in that vein. Like, the people who play Destiny 2 play the shit out of Destiny 2. They grind. It's like WoW. Like, if you play WoW, you're on it every day. You grind all day, every day, all the time. Like, that's what you do.
That's all the game is for Destiny. You grind for useless fucking weapons, or even if you're lucky.
But I'm not saying
shit.
that what you're grinding for is good or bad. I'm just saying, like, the
Right.
people who are playing Destiny 2 are committed to Destiny 2. Where
you
Black
gotta
Ops, you
be.
can hop in and out.
If you want one extra piece of fucking weaponry, you got to play for 4 days.
But I'm just saying, like, when
As you can tell, I have a little bit of resentment towards that franchise.
can't tell.
Yeah.
What
I
I
love
think
the
is
game,
what I
but-
think is going to win is definitely going to be Fortnite. But I think I actually got to side with Eric on what I think should win out of that group is Destiny. I think.
I don't think it will, though. It's lost a lot of its fan base.
Oh,
No,
no,
I
no,
don't think it will. I think Fortnite's going to win, but I
Yeah.
think when I
Even
think
if
of
Fortnite
multiplayer
doesn't
game,
win,
I
I
don't
would
think
put
of
Call of Duty
Fortnite
ahead
or
of it.
Monster Hunter or Sea of maybe Sea of Thieves, but not Monster Hunter.
You know,
or
Microsoft needs Sea of Thieves to win,
they do.
Well, they need it
but
to
they're
do
not going
well.
and it hasn't.
to. No.
I was super stoked for that game when I heard about the beta. Like I jumped in it, and
I played it the first week, and that's it. I
It was
like, not
so
for
bad.
Me. Not for me.
no, like
I think it'd be fun if you had like a group of people playing it.
even then, man, because I had. Well, I guess I only had 3, not a full ship of 4. Because, and that's another thing that irks me about it.
work.
It's 1, 2, or 4. There's no 3
Yeah.
player,
No.
which is
And
just
Travis
weird.
is right. It is work.
But it is. You have to do everything. You have to drop anchor. You have to hoist the sails. Somebody's
Yeah.
got to mind the ship.
And
you
like,
know
if
what
you're
I mean?
into that role playing, and the crew that I joined up with randomly was all about that role playing. Like, they even tried to do accents and shit. I'm like, you guys are way too deep in this
No,
shit.
like I love
Way
like
too intense for me.
playing
mate.
Blackout is amazing because I really like that whole like not camaraderie, but that whole very, very cooperative thing. Like, you have to know your surroundings, know what you're doing, this and this. But I'm not going to be like, "Oi, Alex, go on the left there, about 300 meters." I'm not going to do that shit.
Is that what they sound like?
Yeah, man.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be willing to give Sea
You don't
of
know.
Thieves
You haven't
another
played it.
shot
You don't know.
if I had a crew to play it with. But
Yeah, if you had a crew to play with, it'd be great.
I don't.
But yeah, to end on the multiplayer one, I think Fortnite's going to win, but I would like something like Destiny, even Call of Duty, I'd be okay with. But I think Fortnite is very low on the multiplayer spectrum for me.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Our next category, go ahead. Locke, you want to take this one?
I don't have the doc open. Give me a second.
Oh, well,
I'll take
Rabbit
it.
can do it. We'll just bounce back and forth then.
Okay.
This will be
Well,
the
I'll grab the one after that then.
the nominees for best sports/racing game, which is weird that they put them both in the same category, but whatever.
Either one in the
There's not
same.
really enough of either anymore, I think.
I guess they're
There's
anyway.
not.
You have FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis Aces, NBA 2K19, and Pro Evolution Soccer 2019.
So off the bat,
Discuss.
we have played, if you go back and watch now, 20 episodes ago. Holy balls.
Wow.
20 episodes ago. 40 Love. Locksteady and I played Mario Tennis Aces together.
I had a good time.
It was a good game. Is it the best sports game of the year or racing game? I got to play Forza Horizon 4 because it's part of Game Pass.
I think that game would be super fun because I loved Forza 4.
Dude,
or
the
Forza
game
Horizon
is
3.
so pretty and fun. It
Yeah.
takes all the best elements of like your Burnout franchise with the open world stuff, missions, and just open. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's a really good. And I'm not a big racing game fan. I haven't been since like Need for Speed Underground, but this one is a really good racing game. It was a lot of fun visually. The simulation.
I think that Forza is so much better than Gran Turismo in every aspect.
There's going to be a huge debate on that one.
Yeah. No question.
The
I
Forza,
think-
the one thing I don't like about the Forza franchise is that to me, I've played a few of them. And fortunately, through Games with Gold, I've gotten a few of them for free over the years. They all have the same little like festival thing that you show up to and have competitions. It's kind of the same thing rehashed. This one introduces
Yeah.
seasons and weather and stuff, which is really cool. That's
Well,
the
the
one
last
thing
one
I
had
don't
that
like.
too, is the weather and all that.
Right,
But
that's what I mean. It's just a little bit of the same again.
I think the reason why Forza is a little better than Gran Turismo, in my opinion, is because Gran Turismo is it's more of like the hardcore like racers. They go very in depth with everything, but so does Forza. But Forza has a little bit of fun with it. Like it still has that open world, where Gran Turismo is very much linear, race after race after race.
Which one of them skips out on the realistic damage? That's
Skips out on what?
realistic damage. Like if you
Forza
hit a
has
wall.
damage.
Yeah, so it's Gran Turismo.
I think it's Gran
like you can
Turismo.
run 100 miles an hour into a guardrail
Yeah, and you
and
don't
just bounce
damage the
off
car.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have changed in the recent incarcerations, but I don't know.
Incarcerations.
The reason
Encarnacion.
no Spanish.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I would give it to Forza, I think, though.
so
of that grouping.
I'm gonna lead with Forza deserving it, but there is a heavy soccer fan base out there. The PES franchise is huge.
Yeah, I was gonna say PES is, but it's huge. But I feel like it's huge in places where football is really big, like football.
But that's just it. I mean, we're such a big consumer of gaming product, but yet in the grand scheme of things, these games I don't think sell well here in America. Where as far as worldwide, these games are selling much better.
But the reason why I bring that up, like I feel like PES is very very centralized in Europe. I mean, with obviously people here play PES, but I feel like Forza has a grander spectrum of players. Ooh.
He's throwing shit now. He's pissed.
I smacked my coffee. Hold on one sec.
Oh.
Sorry.
Did he spill?
Well, while he's cleaning that up.
So while he's doing that, you and I played Mario Tennis.
That's true.
Do we, like, after playing that, a lot of our fun and, I guess, grasp towards that game was for nostalgia. The Nintendo 64, reaching back to what we thought was great.
Yeah.
Do we feel that Mario Tennis Aces holds up as a contender in this particular category?
Oh, look, I'm going to say this with the utmost love for both Nintendo and this franchise. That game has no business in contendership for this. Against these other titles, none.
Against these heavy-hitting simulation titles.
It's
a
none.
party game in comparison.
Yeah.
But, again, that does not discount or dismiss anything of value towards Mario Tennis Aces. Because you and I, if you go back to episode 40...
We had a lot of fun with it.
We had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes games, that's what they're only about, is just that fun experience. But if we're talking best sports or racing in a simulation mindset or approach, I'm going to have to say Forza wins this one.
I am going to. I'm going to disagree, but again, like you said, it doesn't diminish any value of the game titles themselves. I'm going to go with FIFA 19.
Really?
What?
FIFA?
FIFA.
That game is hard as shit.
No, I'm just going off of the soccer, like the amount of people who do play soccer games.
I feel like people like Pro Evolution better than FIFA, though.
I don't know. I was going to look it up, like what the reviews are between the two, but I've honestly, when I was making the collages, I totally forgot that PES was even a thing. So I've just heard of FIFA way more often.
Are you saying PDS?
I also feel like NBA 2K19 might be like up there too.
I don't know. I know a lot of people that play the NBA games, but
yeah, this one is very, very up in the air for me because I really don't play either of these very often. Like these styles, like sports or racing.
yeah, like I said, the only two that I truly play off these is the Forza and then the Mario Tennis. So I've played the soccer ones, but they're not my go-tos.
Yeah.
And the only reason I play some of these is because I have the EA Game Pass, so I can play FIFA.
Right.
Yeah. I think Forza though.
Yeah, so in closing for that particular category, we're going to go with Forza. For myself, Locksteady. You said FIFA for you, Rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you think will win, or that's what you want to win?
That's what I think will win. What I want to win is Forza.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be surprised if Forza doesn't pull it out, honestly.
Lock, you got the thing up?
I do.
You take the next one.
Yup. Okay, so up next we got best strategy game.
This will be something that you guys have to talk about. I don't know much about
You know
strategy
what makes
games.
me really sad about this one, especially because you mentioned that, is that this really is historically more my category of game, and
not currently.
I have not played any of these, not one. But that said, your contenders are BattleTech, which is what, the top or bottom right corner
Bottom
there.
right.
Bottom right, Battletech.
Frostpunk, which is dead
Middle.
center. Into the Breach, which is top center. The Banner Saga 3 in the bottom left. And Valkyria Chronicles 4 bottom center.
I feel like the only one out of this I would have played would be Valkyria Chronicles. And I've heard so many good things, but I've tried so many times to play like the XCOM series because I feel like it would have been more of my style of strategy game, but I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
Have you actually played any of the Valkyria Chronicles games?
No, but that's because I've tried many times to play XCOM, which is like a sci-fi one, but I couldn't get into the playstyle, so I just
different,
kind of
though.
just
Yeah,
I'm not going to
that's
try.
a little different style.
So, I have not played XCOM personally, so I can't say that they're completely different in play style, top to bottom.
It's an
but,
action strategy.
Sure, but I think you can have two identical games in terms of gameplay, but a completely different presentation. Like one high fantasy and one sci-fi, and one will unequivocally do better than the other, regardless of the fact that the play mechanics are the same. And so that's why I think for Valkyria Chronicles, I think if you give it a shot, you might wind up getting into it despite yourself, because it's not really, I don't think, necessarily up your alley typically.
It's a gameplay thing though. But if they both have the same gameplay style, then
But so the twist for Valkyria Chronicles, and again, I haven't played XCOM, so I don't know if this is also the case there, but the twist that hooked me on Valkyria Chronicles and made me want to start getting back into these types of games was specifically that, you've got the grid-based movement for the overall battle, but once you engage in enemy combat, it actually takes you down to a third-person camera control of the character. And so you have a certain amount of time directly in control of the character where you can scope or call in tanks or stuff like that.
yeah, Valkyria Chronicles is one that I have wanted to try because it is that art style is very appealing to me. But I should probably just try it. But I'd have to.
Yeah, just give it a whirl if you find the time, man. I bought the first one on PlayStation 3, and I keep I'm right on the edge of buying it over again on the PS4 because they did a remaster. Because I really loved the first game a lot.
Do you have any of the new ones on PS4?
I don't think I've gotten around to buying any of the new ones yet.
Didn't those get ported to the Switch?
Possibly. I mean, they weren't PlayStation exclusive in the first place, I
Right.
don't think, but I believe they may be out on the Switch now too. I could be mistaken. It might be the older ones, if anything, but I don't think the fourth one is. Anyway, so the point is, I personally want to see Valkyria Chronicles do well because I really love that franchise. But of those games listed, the one I expect to win is actually going to wind up being Banner Saga 3. Because I cannot hear enough stuff about that franchise.
That's my favor for this one to win is Banner Saga 3.
I don't know anything
I
about
don't
it
know
other
much,
than
but I
people
will
won't
agree.
shut up.
Sure, because I haven't seen anything on anything.
So, I mean, is that our thoughts on this? Banner Saga, Valkyria?
Yeah, we'll go with that one. I mean, I don't have
Sorry,
very much
guys.
input on this one.
That's gonna be loud.
I was going to say, these ones I have not, unfortunately, played.
That's okay. We have a lot more input
And
on
it
other
is a
stuff.
genre that I do appeal towards. But our next category here is going to be Best Family Game. Our nominees are Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo Labo, Overcooked 2, Starlink Battle for Atlas, and Super Mario Party.
I know what I want to win, but I know what is going to win.
So we have done 2 of these for our episodes.
Then bottom two.
And then bottom 2,
Outsides.
we did episode 40 for Aces, and then 53, 54 for Super Mario Party for our 1-year special.
Didn't you guys
53.
do Overcooked?
We did the
We did
first
Overcooked,
Overcooked.
yeah.
We did not do
Oh,
Overcooked
that's right.
2. But, I mean, we know the gameplay, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
Overcooked 2 actually does
I've
add in some
played-
new mechanics, like being able to actually throw things.
Sure, but the core gameplay, is,
Yeah.
the concept is
The
still
general
there.
concept is the same, yes.
I've
So, I
played
mean,
Mario Party and Overcooked, first one. I haven't played any of the others, so.
I mean, honestly, for this, I know Starlink got a lot of attention, most notable for its inclusion of Star Fox
Yeah.
as a playable character as part of it. It's not a Star Fox game. There's a lot of misconception about that.
Well, because the bulk of the marketing is for the Switch version, which very much paints it as a Star Fox game.
Right. Well, they wanted sales on it because of that. That was the partnership.
Legit, it's the almost the only reason I even considered buying it was because I wanted to play the Star Fox stuff.
The thing is, Ubisoft has had a very, very healthy relationship with Nintendo and Nintendo products. Most notable in the Mario Rabbids. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or played that, but that's an
I've heard of
Ubisoft
it,
title.
haven't played it.
That's a lot of fun if you get a chance to play that. I picked it up at a pawn shop the other day. Really
I need a
enjoy
Switch
it.
to do that.
It's true. You really should get a Switch. But
No, I'm
that's
not going
my
to do that.
opinion.
For which game? Sorry.
It's too expensive,
Mario
and
Rabbids.
there's not very much I'd play on it.
You know, you'd be surprised.
I've actually heard
Probably,
a
but I'm
lot
not
of really
gonna do
good
that.
things about that franchise.
I'm saving up for a new PC, so
Black Friday, man.
You could switch it up. Get a Switch.
not switching it up.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to win? What do you think's going to win?
I'm going with Mario Party for this.
Yeah, that's
but
what I'm
I
gonna go
don't
with,
want
too.
to shy away from Nintendo Labo because that is innovative, but ultimately Mario Party is more inviting and more inclusive for all ages.
I was going to say, I
again,
feel like
it's
Nintendo
family.
Labo is very creative and very fun, but I feel like not a lot of people knew what it was, and Mario Party is very much
Well, it's
marketed.
expensive as shit.
Pretty ubiquitous. Like people know Mario Party.
Yeah.
Well, it's family. It's welcoming
Yeah.
for everyone. Labo is expensive toys that appeal for like minimal people.
It's targeted at people in our age range, nerds who remember shit like Rob the Robot,
And it's expensive. Again, it's expensive.
and it's cardboard. And that's
yeah.
really the thing about it that I think is going to sink that ship. Like it's a really cool concept, but you're paying $80 for a stack of punch-out cardboard.
I mean, Nintendo's a toy company at its roots, so
true.
it's understandable that their approach here was.
So my vote for Think is Mario Party. Believe it or not, I've actually had more fun playing through the first Overcooked than I've had in any other party/family game environment in a long, long time. So I actually kind of wish Overcooked 2 would, because I want to see more games like that.
Yeah.
But that even with that, it's tough for me to say that, because I kind of want to say Mario Party for both should and want.
I had fun with Mario Party. I think, honestly, it was a really cool.
I just
episode
don't
of fun
think
with
it's
you
as
guys.
good as its predecessor.
I think
sure.
Mario Party, but I want Overcooked.
It'll come down to those. Obviously,
I
that's
think
not
so,
how
yeah.
they work, but
Yeah.
it's going to be one of those two that take it. I'll be surprised if it's not.
I'm actually really excited for this next one.
What do you want to go ahead and take it then?
Best,
Yeah, go ahead and take it.
best fighting game. Sorry, Rob. Sometimes I can't hear you, so I have to look over and make sure you're talking. Fighting game. It's only got 4 nominees. It's going to be Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Which we covered.
I was going to say that. God, you interrupting Nancy. Soul Calibur 6 and Street Fighter 5 Arcade.
Which we covered.
Thank you. So I feel like I feel like this is going to be a weird one, because a lot of at least 2 of these games, actually all of these games, are very niche. Not niche, but like Blaze Blue and Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Oh, very different.
They're very different from the other 2, but at the same time, like, they're targeted towards the anime lovers, the people who really like that style of art. Street Fighter 5 and Soul Calibur are different from each other, but they're in that traditional fighting game style.
What's comical to me, Soul Calibur came out not even a month ago.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Yeah, it was not praised well. But that's it for fighting games.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's really not any other fighting games.
There's only 4 nominees.
Yeah. I think Street Fighter 5 is going to win. And I kind of want Street Fighter 5 to win, but I really don't know, because I've only played 2 out of the 4 of these.
I've had the best experience as far as watching stuff going to Matsuri-Con. Most notable, Street Fighter V. Our commentary and those competitors and the stuff they were coming up with. Who was it?
Iron Zangief.
Iron Zangief.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Suplex City, bro.
Dude, some of the tactics and approaches to that game just show you how unbalanced a fighting game could be and how you can get advantages over somebody who's not so good.
Oh, yeah.
This, I guess, exploit to people's weaknesses is the best way to describe it. But honestly, the most appealing game to me, where I was just kind of lost in the shuffle, was Dragon Ball FighterZ. I didn't know what the fuck was going on half the time, and I thought I was on something. I'm like, this
You
is
probably
so...
were.
It probably was. Like, I was like, this is so cool to watch, because I don't know what's happening.
And you can't tell whose character is whose, which character's on which side,
it's a glorious
which one.
mess. I love it.
It cuts away from a fighting game to the anime and back seamlessly. And for a game to do that, to me, that impressed me more than Street Fighter V, which is visually appealing, but it's the same thing we saw back in the Super Nintendo, just up-resed.
It's almost identical to 4.
It hasn't changed much.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball FighterZ, Z, though, is going to get my...
The style hasn't changed, but a lot of the, like...
the meta approach to everything.
Well, I was more thinking just like they added critical arts and they added, the stuff to try to make it a little more
right. And
modern.
At the core, it's still Street Fighter. I think that's what they wanted to keep the integrity of.
Yeah.
Which is fine, don't get me wrong, but for me, as a non-fighting game...
Well, if it's broken, if it's not broken, don't fix it, you know what I mean?
And again, I'm not saying that like that's
why Call of Duty's been the top of the multiplayer shooter game for so long.
But
well,
for me...
That does sort of fly in the face of that, though, because Fortnite is about to topple it, and they changed the game.
Yeah. That's why everyone's trying to keep up now with Battle Royale.
Well, I think Fortnite is falling off hard.
Well, Fortnite is, yeah, but that game style still isn't. PUBG
the game
just
style
sold
is
a
not.
stupid amount of copies.
Yeah,
from
PUBG is now on PS4.
Yeah.
Like,
its console launch sold just a ridiculous amount of copies.
Yeah.
Fighting game wise,
Back to the topic, yeah.
For me, like I've only played very few in the last decade. I've played your Injustice. I've seen and dabbled in some of these that we talked about here.
Injustice is so good.
It really is, but obviously it's not this year.
No.
But if I'm good at
that's what I was gonna say about Smash. I was thinking, why is Smash not on this? Because that's another one we covered. But I was like, that is so long ago.
And Smash is going to destroy this.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't.
When does Smash come out? Next year, right?
December 7th. We're doing an episode on it.
It's right around
December
the corner,
7th
dude.
is when it comes out?
Yeah.
Yes.
And December 6th is the Game Awards?
Yes.
How the fuck do you do that?
Yeah, slap in the face,
I feel
right?
like they did that on purpose.
So,
yes, we know Smash is going to mop up, so let's make it on the 6th, okay?
Yes,
Steve, the 6th it is.
Because this is our 60th episode. You're missing 61, which is NOW, and then 62 is Smash, I believe.
Yeah.
So
you guys are going with DBZ, and I'm going with Street Fighter?
No, because we had this conversation earlier. This episode will air on the 30th.
No.
Or the 23rd. No, you're right. What is the 30th? Because it wasn't NOW.
It is NOW.
It is NOW.
Yeah.
I swear to you, you said to me earlier today it was December 14th was our next NOW.
Hey guys,
NAW.
No, it is. NAW
doesn't matter.
is the 30th.
Yeah, the 30th.
Not NOW.
Oh,
So
NAW.
Rabbit
Yeah.
will be missing that one.
Yeah, it's
so
a
the
NAW
next week we
pay-per-view
go
on the
some-
30th.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ha! Not crazy.
Fighting game stuff.
Yes,
Anyway, yeah.
fighting game. Derailed there. for
I
me.
actually think Dragon Ball both should and will win. Because, again, for all the improvements they've tried to make in Street Fighter over the last 4 fucking iterations
So moving
of Street
on,
Fighter
they
4.
obviously don't agree with me.
I don't. I'm sorry. The only thing interesting about Soul Calibur 6 is they put The Witcher in it. Blaze Blue hasn't changed at
They put
all.
what?
The Witcher.
Witcher's in Soul Calibur?
Yeah, he's on that cover right in the
Geralt,
picture.
and also
It's
the main
just shows how
character
little I follow that
of
game
Final Fantasy
franchise.
15 is in it. No, it's in Tekken. Sorry, Tekken 7.
Yeah.
Which is why is Tekken 7 not on this list? Didn't that come out this year?
Thought that was last year.
I thought that was late last year.
Yeah. I mean, you can look it up real
was
quick,
saying,
but,
look that
I'm
up.
looking-
but
I'm
the
looking
point
it up.
is, Street Fighter didn't really change a whole lot. Blaze
Wait,
Blue
what?
didn't really change
Tekken
at
7,
all.
March 8th, 2015.
What?
Tekken 7 did?
Tekken 7, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Holy crap! I thought it
That
was
was-
last year.
I thought it was
That's
later
been hanging
than that.
strong.
But yeah,
Yeah.
they added the main character of Final Fantasy 15 in that.
Wow, I can't. Okay.
But Dragon Ball really shook things up, and it's extremely popular in the tournament circuit right now. So that's why it's my vote. I think it will, and I think the fact that it is doing something different is the reason it should.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take this next one because
Yeah.
Locke is gonna want the one after it.
Possibly.
And then I'll take the one after that.
Yep, which is fitting.
All right.
So
Next up.
for next category here is best role-playing game, which is one of my favorite genres. We have the nominees of Dragon Quest XI: Echoes of an Elusive Age, Monster Hunter World, Ni no Kuni 2: Revenant Kingdom, Octopath Traveler, and Pillars of Eternity 2: Deadfire. I'm going with
come down to
Octopath
two.
Traveler. Hands down.
I think it's going to come down to Octopath Traveler and Monster Hunter. But I think Octopath Traveler will take it, even though I think Monster Hunter is my favorite out of them. And I'm going to fart.
Ni no Kuni.
Just not on the mic this time.
The art style of Ni no Kuni is really neat. If you've ever played those, I really enjoy the art style.
I've seen it, never played it, though.
But also, same could be said here for Octopath Traveler, the art style and homage to SNES JRPGs. That is the major
Specifically-
appeal there with the classes, the 8 different playable.
Yeah, specifically the Tactics Ogre franchise and Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yes. So if you like that genre of the JRPG, and Square, of course,
Yeah, in general.
knocking out of the park here with Octopath Traveler. It's one that I've been waiting for the price to drop a little bit, but I do want to pick that up on my Switch, and I fully intend on.
Yeah.
It is high up on my Christmas list of things. So
I've heard literally
Yeah, the art
nothing
style
but
looks
good
pretty
things
great.
about it.
I tried to pick it up at the pawn shop, which is why I got the Mario Rabbids. I went up there, I found the case for it because it was like 30 something bucks. Bring the case up there, they couldn't find it in their drawers. They said they didn't have it in stock. So I'm like, you have a fucking empty case on your shelf. I was super pissed because I finally found it for a price I had, money for, and I didn't fucking get it.
That
and I'm
sucks.
like, oh, and then I look at Amazon, they still want $55 for it.
I believe that.
I was so mad. But I will get the damn game soon.
So Eric, yours is Octopath and Monster Hunter.
I think Octo will win, but I think it'd be nice if Monster Hunter did. I mean, it's such a long-running series, but I feel like Octopath Traveler deserves it.
It's comical that you would say it's such a long-running
Can't hear
series
you.
that it deserves it when you're right below, or when right above it is Dragon Quest 11.
Can't hear you.
So here's the thing. You obviously were really big on Monster Hunter World. You powered through that game. You did, I think, your most successful or in succession streams of a single game with the Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it's hard to believe that you're not immediately like, this is it and this is hands down.
Well, I want it to win, but I think that the innovation of Octopath Traveler is...
But that's the thing. It's not innovative.
Well, not innovation. Sorry, not innovation, but I think like the art style and I don't know. I just feel like Octopath Traveler is more of a universally loved game style and very nostalgic, and so I just feel like that one will win. As much, I do want Monster Hunter to win, but I feel like with the sales and the hype that it got, Octopath is going to win. I just understood what you said.
Yeah. So is that me? Are we moving on now?
Yeah, we're moving
Okay.
on now.
All right. So next up we have Best Action Adventure Game. Give me the list. I don't think I even really need the list. Top center we got God of War. Dead center we got Spider-Man. Bottom center we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Bottom left we got Red Dead Redemption 2, and bottom right we got Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This is actually a heavy contention for
was
me.
gonna
These
say,
these are
this
all
is-
really
this is
great.
you.
What I expect to win is going to be Red Dead Redemption 2.
You think so?
It's absolutely cleaning up everywhere.
Even with something like God of War, which knocked everything out of the park earlier this year.
Yeah, but did
Yeah,
you
but
see the
memory
sales
is
for Red Dead
short,
Redemption
man.
2 on opening day, opening
I don't
weekend?
care about sales. Sales don't always mean everything.
No, that's true, but
It doesn't, but
the combination of sales and review scores.
Sure,
Yeah.
but here's the thing: Call of Duty notoriously gets high sales numbers and somewhat decent reviews for the most part. Generally, they don't win awards.
yeah, somewhat decent.
I mean, we're talking 8 and 9s usually for Call of Duty, which
But
is
here's the
really
other here's
high.
the other reason I'm going to put Red Dead above any of the other ones. The two
It got a 10. God of War got a 10.
the two that could theoretically be contenders, God of War and Spider-Man, are both PlayStation exclusives. Red Dead, Odyssey, and
Also
Tomb Raider
that.
are multi-platform,
Yeah.
but Odyssey, it's Assassin's Creed. They've made huge leaps in the franchise over the last two
cross
games.
that one out. I don't think Odyssey will get it.
It won't. The fact that it's nominated is a win enough on its own.
Shadow of the
because I feel
Tomb
like they're coming
Raider,
back.
that series, as good as it is, it's lost its fuel already.
Yeah. 2 games in, they were done. The third one, it's not doing as well as the other 2 did.
No, the marketing wasn't there. Nothing was there for it. I'm not discounting the game. I haven't even played it yet.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet either.
But I'm saying that the momentum of that franchise.
Yeah,
is
the
halted.
franchise has tripped up.
So, I mean, you got Spider-Man, which we all played, all platinumed, all loved. God of War, we all played, we all loved. And Red Dead, we're all playing currently. Rabbit, are you into it more?
Kind of, yeah.
Kind
I
of.
mean, I'm not doing very many main missions. I'm just roaming around and stealing shit.
But you're enjoying it more than you thought you would, right?
No, I knew I was going to like it, but I just didn't have the money to get it on release.
Gotcha. I just thought you were apprehensive about it.
One thing, speaking of apprehension, be careful how you're progressing through the story. You can miss missions.
Interesting.
I found that out recently. Like, I was reading a review of it, and this guy was like, yeah, I had 3 missions up on the map, and then I went and I did one, and only one stayed. The other one fell off the map.
And
Now-
a game as long as it is, that's not a good thing.
Well,
But
I don't.
It's
He
somewhat
doesn't
realistic,
specify
then.
if it was a side mission or like a random mission, or you know what I mean. But
Here's
like,
the thing with a not limited, but somewhat limited cast, that makes sense for things to come and go if certain events trigger other things to happen.
correct.
So, I mean, that makes sense, but they shouldn't have created a tree like that. Because then it kind of sucks because you are missing things.
I don't know that it sucks. I think it just means that
It's well
you have to be
planned.
mindful of how you impact the world you're in.
Sure. The thing about it is, I just wish that game, it's like a lot of GTA games, they don't tell you.
That's true.
They're just kind of like, here you go. Here's the sandbox.
So to jump back to my predictions, and then we can move on to yours, and then we can keep talking about it if we want.
Yeah.
I think Red Dead's gonna win. The primary reason being it's scoring very well and it's multi-platform, and it's the freshest in everyone's mind. I feel like those 3 things just really give it a huge leg up. I feel like Red Dead's gonna clean up.
Keep in mind, this is action adventure, not game of the year.
Still. But that being said, I personally 55-45 Spider-Man over God of War. Like, it's so close
I'm
for me to have
the
to...
exact opposite. I'm the yin to your yang.
God of War 5 over Spider-Man.
Didn't hear you.
God of War just over Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I'm going with God of War for this one, to be honest with you.
I think I'm going to go with God of War for this one too.
I don't fault anybody for that. Like I said, I loved all 3 of them, but
My reasoning is pure reasoning alone. This is action adventure,
Yeah,
and I think the story action adventure dynamic of God of War is greater than what I've played of Red Dead so far.
Red Dead, sure. Spider-Man, though?
Yeah,
Spider-Man had a
Yeah.
lot of action beats.
I feel like
A lot. By comparison.
Spider-Man had a lot of.
God of War had bigger set pieces. Spider-Man had a lot more action beats.
I don't know. I'm heavily leaning on God of War for this one.
Sure. I mean, I'd rather it be between those 2, for what it's worth. I just feel like Red Dead's going to clean up. Anything it's in, I feel like it's going to win.
Yeah, we say that, but
It's also Rockstar. Everybody, like, they feel like Rockstar shit's gold. And I like Rockstar games. I'm not knocking them, but Basically, if it says Rockstar, if you don't like it, you're dumb.
Bully didn't do that well.
Which also sucked. That it didn't do well.
Okay, I was going to say that game did not suck.
Bully was good. Me? I loved Bully, but the fact that it did not do well sucked because it meant we were never going to get more.
Get a sequel.
It didn't become a franchise. It became a one-off.
Yeah, which sucks that it did.
Yeah.
So
who's next?
God of Wars. I put names by the categories too. So
oh, okay.
If you see the sheet. Do you see that, Eric?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Something's going on. Okay. I had some weird audio coming through one of my tabs. Next up, we got, what is it? Best action game. We got Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, center. Dead Cells, bottom left. Destiny 2, bottom center. Far Cry 5, bottom right. Mega Man 11, top center. Personally, I was looking at this list, and the one that I was actually intrigued about in this list that I have not played is Dead Cells. The art style looks really cool, although with that, as much as fun as it looks, as well as Mega Man 11, as big as that franchise is, I feel like for this, Destiny 2 will take it. But I also believe or want Far Cry 5 to take it because it is like that franchise is just one that's like really close to me.
And so you enjoyed that new one so much.
Yeah.
You wouldn't stop talking about it for weeks.
So good. Just everything about it, just the world that you're in, the voice acting, the gameplay is super fun. I mean, it's got some flaws as every game does, but I think it was very, very fun and very good, and a very good predecessor to all the other ones. Like they all follow and just keep getting better and better. The only one I didn't really have fun with was Primal, but I think it's just more of like the time period than anything.
Yeah. I've talked to a couple people about Mega Man 11. I've heard very, very positive things about that one. So, I mean, that's a potential contender if it weren't for something like Far Cry 5 from everything I've heard from you as well as many, many other people. Again, no Destiny. And Call of Duty I've personally played, and I enjoyed it, but for me, it just didn't reinvent anything. It just is more of the same.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not defending your choice, or I'm not going against your choices, but even though Call of Duty didn't reinvent anything, it's still super fun. I don't think it's going to win at anything in this category, but I still think it's super fun to play. And Black Ops is a lot better than I expected.
I mean, it's fine. It's fun. It's just, I don't know. It's enjoyable, but as far as the best,
no, it's not going to win this
can't
category.
Give it the best. Yeah. So Far Cry 5 is my pick.
Far Cry 5. What do you think, Rob?
I think Far Cry should get it. You know what? I'm gonna give it both. I'm gonna give it should and want.
Think so?
Or will and want. You know what I mean? Both.
Yeah. All right. So
Dead Cells is really good though. I watched Kevin dump a lot of time into that game. It's actually really cool. Dead Cells.
Oh yeah, it looks really fun.
It is. It's really cool.
All right, so we'll move on to the next category, which is going to be, let's see, best performance. This is going to be audio performance in a game, and this is going to be really difficult, I think.
Yeah.
You category people. You got Brian Deckert as Connor in Detroit Become Human. It's bottom left. Christopher Judge as Kratos in God of War, who is also in Stargate, bottom right. Melissanthi Mahut as Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey in the bottom center. And Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan, Red Dead Redemption 2 in the center. And Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker, Marvel's Spider-Man at the top center.
Yuri did a fantastic job as Peter Parker.
He did.
So very likable, very welcoming, good balance to the voice acting.
I honestly think God of War is going to take it, or is both for me.
Boy.
I mean, he delivered that line so effortlessly.
He had us doing a boy count.
That's
That
true.
sounds weird saying that.
Please go back and watch the episode for context.
Yes, he also had us talking to each other like that for weeks, if not months afterwards, saying boy about everything.
I still do it at home.
So
The beauty of having two sons, when they do something, I just,
right.
boy.
I've heard mostly positive things about Detroit Become Human, so I can only imagine the acting
I've heard good
in
things.
that is superior, mostly because that's the heavy emphasis on the game is the performance.
Yeah.
But again, haven't personally played it, so I can't say or weigh in. I would have to say probably Yuri.
All these are really good, I think, but
Kratos was good, but again, Spider-Man is one of those things that we've notoriously been a heavy, heavy critic of for the last 20 years on who plays it and what they've done and how they've done.
Okay, so I'm going to interject just a sec. Did we all three of us beat Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Platinum.
Yep.
Okay.
Actually,
So,
I've platinumed and I got all the trophies on the new stuff too.
Okay, Doctor, I'm going to fucking... I did everything. Cool. Hey, shut up.
Damn.
This isn't the All About Locksteady show.
Should be.
I will turn your camera off.
You finally platinum a game. Congratulations.
I did finally platinum a game.
It's my 5th one this year, buddy.
We got a badass over here.
It's my first one.
So
My bad that I play the Xbox, not PlayStation.
now that
That
I
is
was
your
thinking
bad.
about it,
Bad.
what I'm actually going to change to Spider-Man because I just remembered how emotional I got at the very end of that
Oh
game.
God.
Yeah, that story, man, ups and downs and fuck.
Story, but specifically the scene with Aunt May at the end, I was literally just
But the thing
cried.
is, he did a fantastic job as Peter Parker. Like with
Believable and relatable.
Tobey Maguire, we always would say whether or not they were better, Peter Parker or Spider-Man. What was it?
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. You know, we always had the debate on who was better, and even with what's his name now? Playing him,
Tom.
In this?
Tom Holland.
Oh, Tom Holland. Yeah.
So I mean, those are your live action film ones. We also have the voice actors throughout the years of the animes and other games that have been out there.
Neil Patrick Harris forever.
So I mean, again, I'm gonna go with Spider-Man for this one for best performance.
Spider-Man's my both. I loved Christopher Judge as Kratos.
He was good, boy.
Yeah, but
Boy.
Yuri all day.
All right, so let's hit the next one, Rob. It's all you, baby.
Boy.
Boop. All right. So we got best scores / music. Dead center there we have Celeste. Bottom center we have God of War. Bottom left we have Spider-Man. Bottom right we have Octopath Traveler. Is that the wrong image? Or are we missing one?
We're missing Red Dead.
We are missing Red Dead.
What?
And instead we have something in the top center that is not Red Dead.
Oh, what? That's the wrong one, Rob. You're doing best art direction. No, you're not. You picked another one. What the hell?
I literally just dragged and dropped them straight into the scene from the folder, buddy.
Hold on.
Nope.
Nope. That's all right.
I messed up that one. Oh well, that's okay.
Whoops. Okay,
That's dumb.
so
So Red Dead is also on here.
Return of the Obra Dinn is
Return of
what's
the Obra Dinn, yeah.
Return
in
of
there.
Obra Dinn is in art direction. So
Yeah.
ignore that image. We're gonna go with Celeste, God of War, Spider-Man, Ni no Kuni 2, Octopath Traveler, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, we're missing Nino Cooney as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so personally, it's going to be between God of War and Spider-Man again.
No, Spider-Man, I have to say no on score music because the goddamn music looped the whole time as I'm swinging through the whole fucking city over and over again. It was the same thing as I started to get momentum.
Okay, so is this the distinction of would I go buy this on an album or did it fit the medium that it was encased in? Because
Sure, it
would
fit
I
the
go buy it
medium.
would I go buy it on an album? No, God of War I would definitely. Spider-Man I wouldn't. But did it fit the game properly? Spider-Man and God of War were neck and neck for me the whole time.
I'm going to go with God of War on this one.
I'm gonna go with Celeste on this one.
Celeste does have a really good soundtrack. That's another game I watched Kevin play a lot of. He plays a lot of Switch games at my house for some reason.
Because he doesn't like to hang out with you. He just likes to sit on his butt and play video games by himself.
Wow.
Ouch.
Lucky
Shout
for
out
him,
to
this
Not So
isn't
Sad.
live.
Hit me up.
You ain't go watch this thing.
But yeah, no, I mean, if I have to pick one, it is God of War over Spider-Man. And on that list, I would say God of War for both, but Celeste does have a really good soundtrack as well. And I don't know the soundtrack from Red Dead well enough to comment on it. And I don't know the soundtrack to Ni no Kuni at all.
I mean, Red Dead works for the Western style. But,
Sure.
I don't know. God of War was more appealing to my eardrums.
I mean, I have listened to the whole album outside of the game more than once.
Didn't you get the album with it or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
it's
thought.
also
I
available
have a
on
list,
Google Play Music.
like a playlist of just straight video game music, and I have like all the God of Wars, all the Assassin's Creeds. I have Celeste. Oh God, what's that? There's another one that I have on there. It's kind of like Celeste. It's like Dancing with the
Stars.
yes.
I'm actually really surprised Assassin's Creed didn't get in this because the soundtrack to Odyssey is actually really, really good too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Haven't played it yet. Need to. Really bummed.
So.
Dance of the Necromancer.
Oh, right on.
Well, Crypt of the Necrodancer. I'm sorry, but you knew what I meant.
I did actually.
That the
Alright.
music in that is super good too. So in that same vein, I kind of like that style of music. So I'm gonna go with Celeste, and then we can
Right
move on to Art Direction, which I apparently did actually do correctly.
Let's see. All right. Next category is Best Art Direction. The nominees are Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Return of Obra Dinn.
Now the question for this becomes beauty of the game, like the art style of the game. There's just so many things that could go into it when it says art direction, because I feel like Octopath Traveler has such a unique.
As I say, they knocked it out of the park with their art styling.
Yeah, but Red Dead Redemption 2 looks so crisp and so good.
The world that it lives in is really good.
Yeah.
But if I want to talk about environment and just living world and it feels real to me, Red Dead is close, but God of War has the best art direction just because of everything it encompassed from the previous installments as well as the new, the lore, the Greek mythology. And I suppose same could be said for Odyssey, but again, I haven't played it, so I can't critique that. But
Comparing the two, you're right in your assessment. God of War.
yeah,
I think.
I don't know, something about it, and even in those opening sequences of the game, even the first boss encounter, the snow, just the battle itself, and just the art style and the work that you had to put in just for that sequence alone. I get that it's built in, but everything is so fluid and just...
Well, and the other thing is that the whole game is shot in one take, basically.
Right.
Like it's one continuous camera the whole time.
And that right there is art in itself. That is the epitome of best art direction.
Yeah.
That's...
I think I'm gonna agree and go God of War, even though
Yeah.
Octopath Traveler looks great. I think.
Octopath is fantastic looking. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying games are more difficult or if they're more difficult deserve more recognition, because even the simplest of things, can have good appeal to them.
Yeah.
But just something about God of War, you saw it on our episode, the three of us sitting there in those opening things. We were just all like, "What the
Just
fuck?"
floored.
Even though someone played it ahead of time.
We're not naming names here.
I just wanted to play it to make sure everything was good before I played it in front of people.
Hey man, don't fault me.
No. It ended up being good because you had a good dialogue with it. So
Yeah.
I
Good
compliment that, but you were chomping at the bit.
No, if you're talking pure graphics, I think Red Dead crushes all of these in that department in terms of
The sheer
just sheer
mass
quality.
and quality to it all, yeah.
But as much as I have been thoroughly enjoying the world of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and as much as I love the art style of Octopath Traveler, I'm going to have to agree and say God of War.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, everywhere, and specifically the scene where Atreus is sick and Kratos goes home. That whole sequence from the minute he walks out the door to the minute when he stands back up and walks through her in the doorway. I'm trying to be vague on the off chance people haven't done it, but that's dead in the middle.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that whole sequence floored me. It was so
I'm gonna
good.
God of War. So while you guys talk about the next one, I'm gonna take a really quick pee because I drank like 2 cups of coffee and a bunch of water.
Okay.
Have fun.
So this next category is you, Luck.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So for best narrative, we got Detroit Become Human, dead center there. God of War, bottom center. Life is Strange 2, top center. Excuse me. Marvel's Spider-Man, bottom right. Red Dead Redemption 2, bottom left. I feel like for me this one's a no-brainer. It's God of War, but Spider-Man is this is more 60-40 than last time.
Yeah.
And again, it's because both of those games absolutely carried their narrative flawlessly from start to finish. Both of them. Even when you're goofing around in Spider-Man, there's something in that narrative taking place.
Yeah, it didn't feel like you exited what was happening in Spider-Man.
Especially in the latter portions of the game.
Yeah, so even when you're completing the side stuff, it still felt important. Like that was part of the narrative. It wasn't like, hey, collect this thing because you're Spider-Man. No, it was like, these people are taking over the city. You need to wipe them out, and here's why. And this ties into the things that are happening in the over part of the main part of the story.
Yeah. Well, and then even the bullcrap collectibles on the side fit in somehow.
Everything, yeah.
Like you find those backpacks, and it's filling in
even
Peter Parker's lore, and
he's like, "Oh, we had our first date here." Or
exactly.
We did this. Like everything meant.
Yeah, everything in that game meant something somewhere to the grand narrative, either building Peter or building New York. All of it.
So same could be said though too for God of War.
I put God of War above it because it was much more cinematic in scope by comparison.
It is a narrative-driven
I
game.
feel yes, and that's exactly my point.
But Detroit Become Human, that is the game.
Yeah, and I just got the game for my birthday. I have not opened it or played it yet, so I can't speak directly for it. But I will speak on my general experience with Quantic Dream, with
which is very high.
Both Heavy Rain and
so good.
Indigo Prophecy.
It's another game so good.
Both games were really good. Say again?
That was
Beyond Two Souls.
With the chick from
Beyond Two Souls.
Yes, thank you. Beyond Two Souls.
Which I also own and still haven't gotten around to playing.
Shocker.
The Beyond Two Souls is interesting because this is not really a spoiler, but the way they tell the story is broken up into different pieces, so it doesn't tell it in chronological order.
So like Memento.
Yeah, basically. So
Chopped up.
It's very interesting. That's all I'll say about it.
But so that being said, I was a huge proponent for Heavy Rain, even
So
in the
good.
face of
So
all
good.
the people crapping on it.
I still have my Origami Killer little
Same.
origami.
It's absolutely up on display.
The
Hey,
Gorlami killer.
Jason!
Jason!
We always
hated that
we always
beginning,
call
though.
It
him
was
the
terrible.
Gorlami killer.
But that being said,
Kid deserved to get hit.
he did. I absolutely recognized the flaws in the way the narrative is presented in those games. In both Indigo Prophecy and Heavy Rain, it was very prevalent that things break up in very odd ways depending on how you handle them. And while that means you can have this amazing narrative experience that makes you feel included, it also puts so much of the driving force behind that narrative in you. And God of War doesn't do that. It doesn't hold your hand, but you are along for the ride. And same thing with Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I am. after this exchange, I'm torn on it. I'm going to lean on this one for Spider-Man.
I don't fault you. I put God of War above it a little bit more, but Spider-Man is definitely my number 2.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go Detroit.
It's fair. I mean, I hear nothing but good things about it. The only reason I'm not leaning that way myself is my history with the company, not the game itself, because I haven't played it yet.
Have either of you played Life is Strange?
I played the first one.
I feel like a lot of these have a good chance.
Because I know there's a huge positive following for the Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I definitely played the first one. I liked it. I wouldn't put it in the caliber of these other games, but I don't know a whole ton about 2.
yeah.
So
we'll hop on over to the next category then, which I'm still confused by the title. Best ongoing game.
So ongoing game is your consistent online game experience or a title that continues to add expansions and content to it, making it into multiple seasons. So that's why these are games that are continuous, because it's an ever-evolving game.
Then I feel like there's a game that's not on this list. That should be.
Such as?
League of Legends.
well, League's main thing in that particular arena is just that they shuffle the heroes around and periodically add new ones in, right?
That's not new
in
enough.
Overwatch.
No. I'm not disagreeing with you on that comparison, but I'm saying.
But I'm just
Overwatch
saying,
is
like,
an odd inclusion.
in the way you're explaining it, that Overwatch shouldn't be on it either.
I agree.
Yeah,
Overwatch shouldn't be on
is
it.
an odd inclusion.
I don't think that makes sense.
Same with Tom Clancy.
No, Siege has evolved since the release of it. If you know anything about Siege, it's not the same game that launched.
No, it's
No
not.
Man's Sky is the same thing.
The biggest thing they did was add a bunch of operators.
There was more than that. They changed the whole dynamic of it, from my understanding.
From what I can remember, the online play is the same as it's always been, except for the adding of a different mode. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's why I'm saying League should be in the list, is because it's the same as a couple of these that are in the list.
Sure. If
Anyway,
Overwatch
I'll
belongs
read
here,
the
then
list.
League does too. I'll
Destiny
give you
2,
that.
top
So
center.
here's the thing. These are the top ones. I mean, it could have been, let's say they're 5 here. It could have been number 6.
That's true.
So
Yeah,
we don't know
Game
that.
of the Year is 6. I'm just saying.
Well, sure. We don't know how they filter or vote on to get them down to this far. And I'm sure that information's somewhere. I just did not include that.
Yeah.
Destiny 2, top center. Fortnite, middle. No Man's Sky, bottom center. Overwatch, bottom left. And Rainbow Six Siege on the bottom right.
What I think will win is Fortnite.
Yep. Don't want it to, but I think it should. What I
No
think
Man's Sky I'm much more happy with than when it launched. So I'm going to favor that one because it's
one?
No Man's Sky. It's an incredible experience in comparison.
I haven't played the new.
I mean, it's a different game.
It is. If you played it at launch, if you played it now, you almost would not recognize it as the same game.
Like, the core mechanics are there, but that's about it.
And even then, barely. They've revamped everything in that game.
Yeah.
What I want to win would be Destiny, because I feel like out of all of these, with the exception of No Man's Sky, because it, like you said, it did kind of change the entire game, which I think they should have done this in the first place and not did what they did before, but that's another topic. I feel like Destiny 2, I mean, even though a lot of the stuff is planned already, I feel like the constant addition of new campaign missions and raids and new weapons and stuff and rehashing the old weapons. I can't hear if you're talking.
He's fine. He just waves.
Are you going to say something?
No, move on. How many times are you going to quit?
Destiny 2.
That was about as exciting as Destiny 2.
You're just butthurt that you don't like the game. I'm sorry.
How would it be hurt that I don't like it? That doesn't make any sense.
You don't make any sense.
Well, I make dollars, bitch.
Whoa!
Where? Look at
Not
this
here.
setup. Look at this overlay. That's money.
Anyway, I want Destiny. I think Fortnite's going to win, though.
Yeah.
Which just doesn't even make sense.
It does, dude.
What doesn't make sense?
It's money. It's money.
Bullcrap is what it is.
They want to kiss Ninja's ass.
Fortnite
He's half
is
the success for this game.
Look, it not revolutionized, but it
Popularized.
reinvented the battle royal mode, which is cool. It's awesome, but I don't think it's that great that it should have blew up like it did.
It's
I
fine.
think the PvE is way better than the PvP.
Yeah. The game's fine. I don't understand all the rage. The game's fine. But that's the thought on that one. We're going to conclude our coverage of what we think will happen on December 6th at the Game Awards with Game of the Year. These are the 6 nominees: Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
I feel like there's 3 of them that are the obvious ones that kind of tower over the other ones.
You could knock out Celeste.
You can knock out Celeste. You can knock out Monster Hunter, unfortunately, but I wish Monster Hunter had a bigger impact.
I think you could potentially knock out Assassin's Creed.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say too. Even though you shouldn't, but I think with the other 3, you'd have to.
I think both Celeste and Odyssey earned their spots here,
Oh, they definitely earned them.
but I don't think
So
they've
did
got
Monster
any
Hunter,
chance
but
of winning.
in comparison.
Yeah, no, but against those 3, they've got no chance.
Yeah. As Vince McMahon would say, no chance in hell.
You've got. So
So, Trav, what do you think?
you can make me go first.
You
You started.
Let's say your name next to it on the list. So,
Fuck, that's.
What do you think will?
what I think. Okay, I'll go first, Trav. What I think will is Red Dead Redemption 2. What I would like, God of War.
After much deliberation here throughout the course of this episode, what will probably be Red Dead. Even though I would want to put the will on the God of War side of it, but what I want is Spider-Man.
Bold?
I think
Oh, okay.
out of and here's my reasoning. That game hooked me unlike any other game I played this year, to be honest. I platinumed it for once, and I did not have that hook in me with Red Dead yet. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not chomping at the bit to get through it. I'm not wanting to sit there with my son like I did with Spider-Man, handing him the controller so he could take over and enjoy this experience. God of War didn't hook me like that either. I was intrigued and I had fun with it, but I wasn't like, man, I can't wait to see what unfolds next. I was excited, but I was like, I wasn't losing sleep over it. I didn't wake up early and jump right on to God of War. I didn't wake up early or get right home from work if I had a few moments to jump right into Red Dead. I'm intimidated by Red Dead because of that, because there's so much shit. Spider-Man was welcoming. It was a fun experience. It was an easy experience. And I'm not saying that earns the right to be Game of the Year if it's welcoming, but for me, I was hooked in its web. And I got caught in that web.
Caught up in a spider web.
And that's I'm going to go with. I want Spider-Man to win.
See, I think everything you just said about Spider-Man, well, most of it at least, is how I felt about God of War, because I think we kind of have the same sort of, or a different sense of what we thoroughly enjoy in games. Like, one of my favorite games of all time, or franchises of all time, is the Dark Souls series, and that gameplay carried into God of War, which
Definitely.
Yeah, so like I the way you feel about Spider-Man, the wanting to get home and get right into the game, that was me for Dark Souls, all the Dark Souls games. So the fact that you have that style of gameplay in God of War, but you also have it with Kratos and the boy, and all these really cool characters, pulled me in further. I love Spider-Man. Like
I think that's, to me, I think for you that makes most sense. That is your style of gameplay that appeals to you the most.
Right.
And with that being said, I think that's what hooked me. I love open world exploring games where I collect shit and do missions and have the freedom of doing some side stuff, leveling up my character, unlocking things, expanding, my skill set. So you have your mix of little RPG elements, and then ultimately just completing the main story arc. That is the epitome of a perfect game type to me, and that those games themselves appeal the most to me. So I think that's why I favor Spider-Man and couldn't get enough of Spider-Man. Like, I'm chomping at the bit for all the DLC to get out so I could buy it all in one fell swoop and just knock it all out.
It's all free, right?
No.
Yes, it's funded by Locksteady.
Cool.
No, if you bought the collector's edition, whether digital or physical, then you get all 3. If you did not, then you have to buy them separately for $25.
Or 10 apiece.
Yeah, you can buy the season pass for $25 or 10 apiece, and there's actually supposed to be 5, not 3. So those last 2, I'm still gonna have to buy.
That sucks.
But I'm actually gonna have to amend my statement.
Why do you say God
here.
of War? Since this is the last category, might as well get all of the opinions out.
Well, that's the thing. I'm actually gonna amend my opinion. I still think Red Dead's going to win, but I'm actually gonna shift from God of War to Spider-Man for one simple reason. When we got the Batman Arkham franchise, I was absolutely floored at how good a superhero game could be. And so Spider-Man, compared to that, had a lot to live up to. And not only do I think that it nailed that experience top to bottom, but it's already being talked about among the greater Marvel universe as the Iron Man of the video game universe.
Good
So-
add there. It is indeed being talked about as reigniting and lighting a new franchise for gaming.
Well,
in the
and
Marvel
not
universe.
just in general, but an interconnected universe.
Right, to have everything tied together.
Yes, and
it's
so they've laid the
start off.
groundwork
Right.
by having the Avengers Tower and having the Sanctum and
Could you
all that
imagine
stuff.
having that type or solid type of gameplay with a standalone Thor or Iron Man or any other ones, mind you, even expanding upon having a Spider-Man 2 with Carnage and other things like that. Like, there's so many opportunities in this world, not just film-wise for these characters we know, but the Marvel comics, like all these characters, there's
Yes.
so much to explore.
And that is the sole reason I'm changing my vote. I still, in my heart of hearts, believe that God of War deserves it more than any other game on this list for its standalone experience, and I wish to God there was DLC that I could chomp at the bit to play, but they've already flat out said there won't be. But for the fact that if Spider-Man does well enough, we will, not might, but will see an expanded Marvel video game universe on top of that, and especially because we're not limited to just what Marvel Studios owns, which is, everything at this point, but there is no worry about who owns what franchise at that point, because they can all go to Sony. And if Insomniac continues to handle that overall, we could have great games from all of these different characters. We could finally get a worthwhile Ghost Rider game.
Oh, man. Didn't even think about that.
How fucking cool would it be to tool around the city as Ghost Rider?
I'm all about that.
Side question. Okay.
What up?
Given the play style, if you had the same style, imagine the Spider-Man game that we have, Marvel
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yep.
Okay. In that same vein, if you had the gameplay well done, the world navigation about the same, if it was as good as this, which Marvel character would you want to play as to roam the city and do side missions and just play the style of game?
Batman. I'm just kidding.
I'm actually my knee-jerk response
DC
to this.
For all the haters.
If
That's
you
also
take
already been done.
I know. It's a joke. It's a joke. Bad joke.
If you take the existing structure of Spider-Man, I think the most logical character to drop directly into it is going to be Daredevil.
Okay.
I don't know that he's my number one character that I would want to do that, but
Iron Man.
right off the top of my head,
I
I think
don't
Daredevil would be
necessarily
a
mean
perfect fit.
I want Iron Man.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily mean like I just mean like if it's done well enough. And
No,
the
I know what you
structure
mean,
as
but,
far as,
like,
choosing
using
side
Spider-Man
missions,
as
I
the
can't hear
base.
you. When you talk over me, I can't hear you. Just so you know. What did you want to say to me, young man?
I said I knew what you
smell.
meant, but using Spider-Man as the base, my next go-to would be Daredevil.
Okay.
Not because like he deserves it best or like he would get the best handling or whatever, but like for as much fun as I had with Spider-Man, Daredevil would be an amazing take on this exact formula because it would be darker and grittier. Because Daredevil historically is darker and grittier than Spider-Man, but still has the same general flavor that this game would have.
What would you think about X-Men in this style?
X-Men?
Yeah. If you did it in the same style of this, but kind of gave it that element of like Lego Marvel, where it switches back and forth between all the X-Men characters. Like, for example, Wolverine's stuck in something, and then Psylocke has to go help him or some shit. I don't know.
The possibilities there are freaking endless, man.
Yeah.
But I would love to see an X-Men game come out of this.
Number one on the wish list would be actually Spider-Man 2 before we proceed with any others.
I think
introduce some other side
Yeah.
characters, and then introduce the idea of Iron Man coming in and doing a couple missions and expanding in that regard. But I would want to see a Spider-Man 2 first before we experiment with another one. Because there's so much you can do inside this world yet before you run away from it.
I wasn't necessarily saying which one should be made next. I was just
Venom.
thinking, who would you like to see in that vein?
Well, Venom, of course. But again, there's so many more things we should do here with Spider-Man. But if I had to pick another character, I'd want Iron Man. Deadpool, they did a Deadpool game. That was kind of fun.
It was kind of fun.
But I
Give it
don't,
to
I don't
Insomniac.
see Deadpool. I don't see Deadpool doing the same style as like Spider-Man, like going
no,
around
not-
saving humans.
Not the same style, no. But if you give the same care to a Daredevil game, that would be dope.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. Did I say Daredevil? I meant Deadpool.
I meant Deadpool too.
And the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie wasn't bad. It was like a action slice 'em up. I don't know if you ever played that one.
You mean the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
The X-Men Origins Wolverine, the game.
Yeah. Well, because you said the movie.
Well, the movie, the game. It was from the movie, the game.
Yeah, but it wasn't called the game. It was just X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I think it was called the game, though. Do you know that?
It was not Triple H.
You're fucking done with you.
No, that game was good.
It was really
And
good.
that's why I think Wolverine would be good for a game.
Yeah. It'd be bloody as hell.
Which it should be.
Yeah. Which that one was.
Which it should have been.
Yeah. I don't know, I had fun with it.
Anyway,
Gambit.
Uh,
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler would be cool. But again,
Oh, God, Nightcrawler just by himself, though. Like, just one whole section of the game that's just Nightcrawler.
for those, you'd have to have an X-Men game.
Well, yeah.
You couldn't have Nightcrawler.
You can't have standalone X-Men character
No,
games.
you couldn't have Nightcrawler.
If it's not Wolverine. Wolverine
Yeah.
could get his own game by himself. I don't think any of the rest of them could carry it on their own.
No. But if I could fly the fucking Blackbird, dude. That's
Yeah.
how you show up for a mission.
Yep.
You fly. Fucking down.
That's how you fast travel.
Fight a Sentinel. Fucking down.
Yes.
Anyway.
Spider-Man for Game of the Year.
Yep. Spider-Man.
I still think God of War, but that's okay.
It's okay.
You might be right. So
Might be.
I hope so.
you'll want to tune in. It'll be streaming live on Twitch as well as other platforms. I'm assuming IGN and other, things will be doing it.
Yeah.
But Thursday, December 6th, I believe it starts at 8 or 9 p.m. Don't quote me on that. Do some research yourself.
Quote 'em.
They usually have a musical performance. I don't know who the celebrity will be this time.
Sally Field.
Before having Imagine Dragons on there perform, it was really cool. They'll also do some sort of like best moment tribute. They really like Hideo Kojima. They always shout him out and do something for him. So I mean, it's something to worth watch. Last year they had one drunk guy pitching his game, his prison game.
No Way Out.
No Way Out. He was
a
like,
good game.
super drunk and awkward.
Yeah.
So
What's up,
you never know what you're in for when you tune into that award show.
It was a good game, though.
Cool.
But this has been our Black Friday episode, so hopefully you're having fun shopping or winding down your day from shopping, sipping a cup of hot cocoa, eating your leftover turkey and mashed potatoes from the day prior, cuddling with Rabbit. Hey, how you doing, whatever it is you're doing, we're just glad you're tuning in to us, whether it's on YouTube with our scheduled premiere here, or if it's on Twitch with our scheduled premiere here. You're watching us in some form or facet, or if you're watching us 20 years later, dusting off YouTube. Thank you. 60 episodes, the weekly dosage. You'll want to tune in next week as we're doing NAW episode 34, possibly at that time. If my numbers add up correctly, we'll see. And it is the Massacre on 34th Street pay-per-view, starring Rabbit.
That's it, just Rabbit.
Just Rabbit. I don't know. I don't know all the matches yet. But tune in for that. And then we're getting much, much closer to next episode I'm excited for. I've been waiting. Smash Bros.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for that.
Super excited.
So, but it's been fun. Any parting thoughts from you boys?
Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Especially if you are actually watching this on Black Friday. You know, it's always a pleasure.
Rabbit.
Bye.
See you guys. Jesus.